I'm Kai Elsbar, and I am the host of Conversations with Kai. Today, as always, I am so excited to introduce to you our guest, who happens to be an intern at Chicago News Weekly. Hello, Angie.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Okay, so just state your name and where you go to school.
My name's Angie.
Angie what?
Haral. As you know, I've been here for a couple months already, and I'm here from National Louis.
Right. So a few months ago, we, meaning the newspaper, attended a job fair for students.
Mm-hmm.
And Angie was one of those who stopped by our table and provided her resume of work that she had done. And I was very interested because she actually hosts a podcast at the university.
Yep.
And I said, we need to talk to her. So gave her a call and we had a wonderful conversation. Do you remember some of the things you told me that first conversation? What you were interested in?
Honestly, it was a blur, but I think right away, I mentioned the podcast that I did because I did a little research on CNW. So I was like, I can get it if I mention the podcast, and kind of highlighting what I do already as a podcast producer, social media manager, and how I can kind of help the team a little bit. And that's
Well, that says so much about who you are
Mm-hmm.
and actually how you showed up.
Yeah.
You did some research.
Yes,
a
I
lot
did.
of young people don't do that. And so you knew what was going to capture my attention.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely did. And we got into a conversation about it. And the next thing I know, we were in conversation with the dean that was head of the internship program. And he actually came here and interviewed. He had a conversation with Cheryl and I, who is our publisher, Cheryl Norman. And the rest is history. But what I want to get to is the actual experience that you had here.
Mm-hmm.
So did you feel comfortable from day one, or did you feel a little intimidation? Talk to me about that.
Oh, I got this. Okay. So basically the first day I was expecting very strict, very tense. I thought since it's a media outlet, I was like, oh no, what am I going to expect? Desks everywhere. Am I going to see a whole bunch of people? And I just thought it was going to be very, I guess, strict. And I walked in and I was like, oh my God, who do I talk to? How do I talk to them? Do I have to be professional? And immediately I talked to Laura, I talked to you. My first day was with you in your office the entire day.
Yeah.
And I immediately felt comfortable.
Right.
I saw Chai. Me and you had a connection right away.
Yeah.
And we just talked about what you were expecting from me. And I was like, this is my place.
Well, I think it's very important when in any workplace, brings in the intern, that we do create a sense of a safe space and comfort, so that you can come in and do what you do best and then learn what there is for you to learn. But I was, that particular day, very, very interested in what it was that you were doing. And once you started talking, I think that's when, things blossomed, because you were comfortable with what you were talking about, comfortable with your skill set, what you do, and you owned it. And so I really liked that about you and felt that we would be very pleased. But then that's when I extended another opportunity. Remember, I said, since you already do podcasts at the university, what about writing articles and then connect it with your podcast? So how has that experience been for you?
I think at first I was very excited. I jumped at that because I am a creative writer as it is, but kind of interview style writing I've never experienced. So I was like, I don't know how to do this. I was like, I don't know how to ask for help at that time. And I kind of just wrote something and sent it to you.
And what happened?
And you gave me some feedback, and at first I was like, oh my God, I messed up. Like,
No.
I needed to do this and that. But the feedback felt really good.
Yeah.
I was like, this is what I needed.
Yeah.
And now I've sent you my new revised piece, and I feel like I did a little bit better. I feel
You did great. You listened, because that's important. You know, I always share this with young journalists. My first real professional job was at the Chicago Defender. I'm not going to tell you how long ago, but a long time ago. And they had just created a section called We Are, which was a pullout to compete with the reader. So it was all about entertainment. So anyway, I wrote this article. I can't even remember what the article was. But when I got it back, my editor, whose name, anyway, Richard Mitchell, I said, did you cut your finger or something? Because it was red all over what I had written. And he said, no. He said, Kai, this is a commentary. So it's all opinion. He said, you can't insert yourself in this. This is a report. Do not insert yourself in it. And that was rule number one. So I just wanted you to take what you had and do what you do. And then you learn from that. Because after that, once I actually sat and talked with him, and it was corrective and instructional criticism. It's not, like a beat up. Yeah. It's to provide insight for you and guidance. And I think that you did very well. And from that point on, you have been a little misproductive around here. So let's talk about some of the things that you've done. I don't think I mentioned it earlier in the beginning, but I was so excited because your dean had said, well, Angie is a star. She's a rock star. At Lewis University, the podcast are concerned. I say, yeah, that's what we need. So my question to you is, here in your experience, did you learn anything different, or was it just more of developing, your craft, where there's some different things that it could have just been something that happened that never happened technically, at your podcast studio? Just talk to me about your experience. What did you like about it? What were you doing?
Okay, so I think what I learned during the internship was that I like the environment. I know what I value in certain professional environments, and CNW was exactly what I kind of wanted. Okay. That collaboration, open communication, those bonds. I think that me, Laura, all of us we bonded right away. We had those casual conversations, but there was also those conversations over like, hey, like, this is your task, this is what you have to do. And I like that. I like that open communication and bond. And I think what a lot of people are kind of hesitant to say is that an experience kind of helped them move in a different direction. And I think that's the point of an internship or any experience, is your ability to kind of see what you're interested in and see where you're not. And for me, it kind of gave me clarity on what I really want in a work environment, so that, like I mentioned, that open communication, asking for feedback, being able to ask questions. But I also realized that there is some genres in media that I may not want to pursue in the future. Right. But it did help grow my appreciation for the behind the scenes, getting those angles, getting that layout out, and the lighting, the audio clips.
So let's talk about some of that, because you participated. Chicago just had an election. So we had the candidates forum here. So you were able to participate in that and really get a sense of what that's like, as well as the engagement of other media outlets who were here. Yeah. What did you think about that? What was that like for you?
At first, when I saw everyone sitting down, I was like, oh my God, This is so cool. All these medias coming here, doing this one thing, kind of working together. But I realized that like each media has their own way of asking certain questions or what they really need from the people that you guys are interviewing. In this case, it was a panel. And everyone was asking different questions. Some were just typing it up. Some were taking pictures. And I was like, I think that moment made me realize, like, this is what media is.
Yeah.
And not everyone's going to get the same story, or it doesn't matter if you guys get the same responses from questions. It's going to be used differently, and it's going to be seen differently.
Right. So we talk about that in the press room as, you know, what's your slant? Remember we talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, what angle are you coming from? How do you want to tell the story? And so, as you've already said, even though everyone was in this room, the stories are going to be different. The way they heard it, that whole thing. So that was pretty exciting.
It was.
And then, what else? I think you did something. Oh, then Laura assigned you a campaign.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
Okay, so the campaign started off a little bit disorganized. It was very, I would say, I learned a lot because I've never done a campaign. And even though I'm in a marketing
So what
class,
was the campaign?
Okay, so the campaign initial name is Turn Up Chicago.
Okay.
It was very community-based. This media network already has a lot of community, but I wanted to focus on that, on the behind the scenes, the fact that we are here for Chicago. I want to get the CTA. I want to get the people laughing, the behind the scenes, those portraits that you guys take for the covers.
Oh, yeah.
I want to highlight that it's not just a media network, it is a people network.
Yeah.
And that's what the campaign would be about.
And you were also here for one of the most important moments in our history when Reverend Jesse Jackson died.
Yeah.
And then we did an interview there. And I think there was some insight that you gained about the experiences that more Cheryl and I had in terms of our media journey. And what kind of conclusion did you draw from that? I'm interested because you took pictures.
Yes, I did. So I basically took away that it's the people that you connect with. It's the stories you kind of hold after so long that in kind of remembering him, you have all those memories of, I worked with him, I worked in the same environment, he said this, and it kind of stuck with you. And I feel like that is something that needs to be highlighted in media, because it's not just people reading it or scrolling. It's more of a connection, and people are going to read that connection. And I think that interview and me taking those pictures and you guys kind of laughing about those stories, it really brings out like, hey, this is a media network, but we are people too. We have our stories, we have our personal lives behind the scenes, and it's so much more than that.
So I think you hit on something that's very important, and I hope that this is shared with some of your student colleagues, and that is that the media is alive, and you are dealing, it's an alive thing, and you are always engaging and involved with people on so many different levels, because today you are you're the guest, but last week you were behind the scenes, and you were one of the producers, the sound person, all of that. The point is that we have to deal with people on so many different levels, right? We're meeting people. How do you talk to them? Who are they? You were also with us when we were looking at a potential sponsor. Remember that?
Yeah.
So you've participated with us on different levels, and I think that, and I hope that allotted you the opportunity to get a real vision of what goes on and what makes media, network or outlet work. So I'm looking forward to you big time.
Me too. I'm excited. I'm excited to not leave this internship, but kind of leave with knowledge. And I think I learned a lot, even if it was something that kind of tells me, hey, I might want to move in this direction.
Right.
I think that's the whole point. And
Absolutely.
I think I can give a lot of credit to CNW for kind of having me here and teaching me all this.
And that's another point. I'm just saying this like for, students, what you just said. We may think we want to do X until you get in it and you find out that's not what you want to do at all. Listen, I went to law school for a year and it was like, oh my God. I couldn't wait to get out of it. Then I didn't know what I want to do because I had been I know everything. This is what I'm going to do. I'm taking these courses and that courses. So really, internships are really a great opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
For students. You put your foot in the water and you find out. So Angie, I'm so happy that you graced us with your skills and yourself. And I wish you the best in this stay in communication. I know you're going to do well.
And I'm going to stay in touch.
Very good.